So one day, this woman, Patsy, wakes up in her Colorado mansion. She heads downstairs, maybe to grab a coffee, and that's when she sees it. A 2.5-page ransom note sitting on the stairs. Her 6-year-old daughter, John Bennett, is missing. The note says John Bennett has been kidnapped. The kidnapper wants $118,000 in exchange for her life. And they left one very specific warning. If you call the police, your daughter dies. And Patsy, she immediately calls the police. The police arrive at 5:55 a.m. But the crime scene is a disaster from the start. Officers let friends and family wander through the house, touching things, cleaning up. No area is secured. If there was any evidence of the intruder, it's already ruined. Hours pass and there's no sign of John Bennett. But at 1 p.m, Detective Linda makes a decision. She tells John Bennett's father, John, to search the house. Minutes later, he's screaming. John Bennett is in the basement, and she's lying on the floor of a small storage room, covered in a white blanket. A garrote made from a broken paintbrush is tied around her neck. Her mouth is covered with duct tape, and her skull is fractured. But here's where things get a little bit suspicious. The ransom note made it seem like John Bennett was taken from the house, but she was never taken at all. She had been inside the house the entire time. And that ransom note, something about it feels off. Experts say most ransom notes are short and to the point. This one was 2.5 pages long. And the handwriting is very similar to John Bennett's mum, Patsy. But there wasn't enough evidence to say for sure that it was her writing. But definitely enough to raise eyebrows. Now at this point, the police have two main theories. One, an intruder broke in, killed John Bennett, and then what? Hung out inside the house and wrote a long-ass letter before leaving? Or two, someone inside the house already knew what happened and wrote the note to cover it up. The autopsy only makes things more confusing. John Bennett was strangled, but her skull was also fractured, and there's no signs of a break-in. But then, investigators find DNA, a small unidentified male sample on John Bennett's underwear. It doesn't match her dad, and it doesn't match her little brother, and it doesn't match anyone in the house. Speaking of family, let's talk about Burke, John Bennett's older brother. A bowl of pineapples found in the kitchen with his fingerprints on it. In John Bennett's stomach, there was pineapple. Some investigators believe she may have taken some of Burke's snack, and he got mad. He hit her in the head, and the parents staged the scene. But there's a problem. Burke was cleared by DNA evidence, and detectives couldn't prove he was involved. So if it wasn't the family, who the hell was it? Over the years, police investigated multiple suspects, like Gary, a convicted pedophile who lived nearby and admitted to killing John Bennett, but his DNA didn't match. Then there's Michael, a local man who supposedly bragged about making a killing right before the murder. After police announced new evidence in the case, Helgoff was found dead from an apparent suicide, and that's a little bit suspicious. But no hard proof tied him to the case. Then, in 2008, the case took another turn. Advanced DNA testing revealed the unknown male DNA, and it didn't match anyone in the house. The governor even publicly apologized to John and Patsy, clearing their name as suspects. But that DNA still doesn't match any other criminals, meaning the real killer could still be out there. So where does this case stand today? With new genetic genealogy, investigators might actually have a chance on finding the killer. But for now, this remains one of the most infamous unsolved murders of all time.